get to the fort entrance, and they stop you. They tell you to wait
Access
here.
denied.
Well, yes, right now it is. Tell you to wait here. You get the commanding officer
Down, funky butt.
so that you may speak with him and about your issues.
Questions.
Now, the uniforms you see are similar to the ones you saw in the swamp. And they do have a kind of this armband that has kind of like the Vitruvian man symbol on it. You know, the man standing there, supposed to be the perfect man idea. It's on their little badge, as well as the number 1.
Well, I probably got a picture of it because I got enough pictures of everything else.
Probably.
Not.
But if not, you've seen it when they chased you out of the swamps. It is the same troops.
Yeah.
Finally, a gentleman comes forward. His name says Major Havoc.
Havoc.
Yes. Jumpy kitty. He's like, yes. Calls the
You don't need to write everything down.
the guy at the gate.
No, you don't.
Well, he might need it to remember. The guy at the
What's his
gate,
name?
I'll quiz him later. Major Havoc. Havoc.
Major Havoc.
Yes, he's like, oh, yes, we've heard from the congressman, and we have your camera over here. Goes over the front of the gate. They already had it set up. They got a call from him. You got to gather together. Says the access into the fort is not permitted, but here's the camera and all the images except for the one that was a national security issue. We wouldn't have used the item that was used if not for the emergency of saving the public, but it's also something we don't need the enemies knowing that exists. But because of that, he pulls out a check that was written, and it says for $10,000, which is what she would have gotten if she sold the picture, which she was already talking about doing. So she will be paid for the picture. She's getting back her camera. An apology written from him. He's the one that picked it up.
Okay. Well, at least Sis got her camera back and money for what she would have had.
Yes.
But everybody saw that monster out there. I'm probably not.
That wasn't the concern. We didn't make that.
Everybody saw the monster, but what were you trying to hide?
What we had to use to try to stop the monster.
Your weapon.
Funny enough, that's usually what things boil down to when you're talking to military people. We don't sell pillows here, boy.
I know quite a bit of your weaponry, but that one is something I've never seen before.
That's the idea.
But I wasn't the only one who saw it.
The problem is not that how many people see it, but how much people can prove. Luckily, it's copyright free, but yeah.
Okay, Cleo?
Well, she's here we are again now. Well, Dam Production, meeting number 14. Now, basically, for the most part, what I'm here to express to you is we finished the Shrinker racing game, Dr. Shrinker's racing game, as well as we should be coming out with, we're still editing it together, the walkthrough, and kind of like, you know, gives you some shortcuts actually on some of the racetracks. But we're now on to starting our next one. In Roblox, you'll see a lot of stuff called the obbies, which are obstacle courses. I used to always call them in video games the jumping games. Mario Brothers is like that a lot, and so is Sonic sometimes. A lot of times. But those ones are kind of like a different type I'll be dealing with later. These ones here are just jumping from location to location. Different obstacles, of course. That's why it's called an obby. Now, what I've done is I decided to design it on, because I got to come up with something to make it not like all the rest of them, and then give me a way to focus the creative side of it, what I'm going to put into the game. In this case, I went with the idea of where do you want to get out of, or obstacles from or to. Well, I went with like an obby out of hell, and I wanted to base it on Dante's Inferno. And there's like, besides just the obstacles, there's going to be an area in between each one where there's a, you know, an area. It can be only like one room, whatever, but something represents that ring of hell. Starting from down at the bottom, working your way back up to the top this time. The last one would actually take you out onto a separate map with a separate, because it's going to have the hellscape for most of the game. But when you finally finish it, it should pop you out to a completely different place where it's like that. I was planning on that, like the starting. When you first get the game and you're making games, they have a thing called your starting place or my starting place. Well, that's what I used as the area representing home. Now, that one, here's a symbol from that one, if you want to look it up. Dante's Obby Out of Hell. We're finishing that up right now. And the walkthrough for that one will be coming out in a while. I've still got to film and edit and, you know, the details on it. It's basically just going to be showing you what to get through it in fast forward. You know, like I said, partially this is 3 steps when you make a game, and it's kind of like from what I learned in school, and I wanted to still follow that concept to say, so, you know, they can't say you understand what the world is doing unless you try it in its way. Well, first the gaming companies will come out with you like this at a production meeting and tell you what the new game design we have and give you an update on the old game designs that we've had. Then we design it. Then we put it out there, and then we go ahead and create a walkthrough or something like that. It'd be another like a merchandising upsell, but it's the process I wanted to still follow. And put that out there too. And all these, my only upcoming in that is it goes all the way back to watch the walkthroughs. It's going to go back to our YouTube Real Damn Studio location. It's all kind of extenuous work and something fun for me to keep my brain working on, and to draw them back to the original living here, Real Damn Studio. There we go. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, I would like to discuss, well, this won't be exactly on time because these kind of come out different because I write them and then I put them out. During this whole time, this net neutrality thing, I found out right before that happened, they canceled public access of my area. The studio decided to quit carrying it. So, gone. Something that's supposed to be guaranteed, more so than your ability to watch paid TV, is the importance of public access TV. I'd worry more about it, and I fought it before up in Seattle when they went from regular viewing on TV to HD. They left it behind then too, because when they went to the HD stations, they didn't include public access. Those of us in public access in Seattle, Washington, bitched and complained, and we got that changed. They got it put on. They had to include 2 public access stations, because actually one of the president who set it all up, oh, FDR, I think. I'd have to look it up again. No, it wasn't him. But I think it might have been Eisenhower. No. I'm going to have to look that up. You can go ahead and look it up. Put a comment down below. Let me see if you found it. But when he wrote the rules on how cable TV, because he was afraid, he knew that if only the rich could be on TV, only the rich could speak to the people. And he didn't want there being that separation. Well, they said, screw that. And we'd be all in trouble if not for the fact that, well, YouTube and the internet are there now. They weren't there before. So, pretty much they've taken public access from being in the normal range. They kicked it all the way off in some weird number that you'd really have to be looking for it. No chance of just someone finding it on accident and enjoying your stuff. No. You had to have told them where it was, so you could find this like 112 or whatever it was for a while and locally. Now, YouTube luckily makes it a little easier, and we still have a way to speak, but we're going to have to keep fighting. Don't let that net neutrality, well, it did die out, but doesn't mean we have to give up. Doesn't mean we can't return to it. A lot of these things going on now in this current presidential thing, I personally, if I could, I would run on one concept. I will completely reverse everything this bastard did to our country during the time. Except for you can't. It's a lot of psychological damage. That's the way it goes, though. So, get out of that, back into the business. Business of making nothing. But it's the fun process of going through it. And the freedom I have of not really having to care if it ever is liked or if it ever makes money. But I enjoy it, and that's what matters. And hopefully some of you enjoy it. If there's only one person out there who enjoys it, I'm glad, because I create what I do because I wanted to see what I'm not creating. So that's why it's there. I understand I'm in the minority on it, but that's fine by me. Okay, now we'll see you next time, and we'll probably have another game for you, and we'll tell you how this one went. Let's see, this time was what they call an obstacle course. I think the next one's a line runner. So we'll come up with some ideas on that. Maybe put some stuff down below and see what you guys think. I still want to get input from you. This is supposed to be at least two-way. So, contact us, make comments. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you probably next month. Thank you, and have a nice day. I would appreciate it if you could please go over and click on the subscribe and hit the notifications so you can know next time we have something new coming on. And sorry for the interruption, but back to the show. Moment in History 133. Growth of Organized Religion. The first years of 19th century witnessed a revival of the religious spirit. The English church, loyal during the Revolution, had reorganized on an American basis. The Methodists spread rapidly throughout the work of the preachers. Puritanism was disintegrating by 1800s, and from its ashes eventually rose the Unitarians and other sects that dissented from the old form. The period also witnessed the rise of the camp meeting, that unique American institution. It became a powerful influence in the religious life of the rural sections. The illustration seen shows the Old North Church in Boston, one of the most famous of the early New England places of worship.
Hello, and if you've enjoyed some of our work that you've seen here, please do me a favor and click there over on Patreon corner, and you can see you can become a patron, and for like $1 a month you can give me input on anything that you think would be good to continue on. So we do so much different things, and it's hard to see what people want to see next, so become a contributor as well as have an opinion on what we do next. Thank you.
Hello to the ship. I would appreciate if you could please go over and click on the subscribe and hit the notification so you can know next time we have something new coming on. And sorry for the interruption, but back to the show. Damn weird. The Zairu Maru sea monster. Also known as the Zairu Maru carcass. The Zairu Maru sea monster was caught by the Japanese fishing trawler of the same name off the coast of New Zealand in 1977. The carcass's particular appearance led to speculation that it might be the remains of a sea monster or a prehistoric plesiosaur. On April 25, 1977, the Japanese trawler, east of Christchurch, New Zealand, caught a strange unknown creature in its trawl. The crew was convinced it was an unidentified animal, but despite the potential biological significance of the curious discovery, the captain, Akira Tanaka, decided to dump the carcass into the ocean again, as to not risk spoiling the catch of fish. However, before some photos and sketches were taken of the creature, nicknamed Nessie by the crew, measurements were taken, and some examples of skeleton, skin, and fins were collected for further analysis by experts in Japan. The discovery resulted in immense commotion and a plesiosaur scare in Japan, and the shipping companies ordered all of its boats to try to relocate the dumped corpses, but with no apparent success. Professor Tokio Shikama from Yokohama National University was convinced the remains were of a supposed extinct plesiosaur. Dr. Fujiro Yasada from Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology agreed with Shikama. The photographs show the remains of a prehistoric animal. However, other scientists were more skeptical. According to Bengt Schwergen, Swedish paleontologist Hans Christian Bjerring was soon interviewed by Swedish news agencies and said, "If it's true that the Japanese collected samples of fins and skin, it would be possible to conclude from a microscope what it is. If it would be shown to be a hitherto unknown animal from the sea, it is as big a sensation as the discovery of the coelacanth in 1938. But there is reason to be suspicious of the claims of plesiosaurs, For example, as the marine environments and fauna changed drastically since the plesiosaur existed on Earth. Another Swedish scientist, Ove Pearson, was also critical of the plesiosaur interpretation. He recalled other discoveries of similar dead marine creatures resembling the plesiosaur that on closer inspection revealed them to be just decomposed, unusually large sharks. He also added the discovery of the coelacanth was not as strange as if the plesiosaur would be discovered. The plesiosaur is much bigger and breathes with lungs. It seems incredible that it would manage to remain hidden. A team of Japanese scientists from the Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technologies and Ikkyo Abada from the National Museum of Nature and Science, as well as Toshio Akira from the Atmosphere and Ocean Research Institute at the University of Tokyo, jointly concluded while the identity of the carcass could not be determined with certainty, the carcass was most likely that of a large shark. On July 28, 1977, the Zaramuyo carcass was commented upon in the international science magazine New Scientist. A scientist from the Natural History Museum in London had the same opinion as Berzing and Pearson, that the remains were not of a plesiosaur. Decomposition patterns of the basking shark, whose spine and brain case is relatively high calcified, for a cartilaginous fish can be expected to produce a similar shape to plesiosaur. The first part of the fins fall off during decomposition are the lower jaw, the gills area, and the dorsal and caudal fins. Of the view that the carcass was explained as a plesiosaur, it is the infamous old Stronson beast that once again haunted like at innumerable other occasions. The scholars in Japan went into the same easy trap as the Scottish naturalists did in the 19th century. Although several scientists insist it was not a fish, whale, or any other mammal, analysts later indicated it was most likely the carcass of a basking shark by comparing the number of sets of amino acids in the muscle tissue. Decomposing basking shark carcasses lose most of their lower head area and the dorsal and the caudal fins first, making them definitely resemble a plesiosaur. Thank you. So he hands you his camera and the apology note and all that, along with the check.
And gives you the wavy hand of doom.
He gets the military version. It's kind of like, what's his name's? Rimmers? But throw a little flourish hand flip at the end. Says our report stated that you'd probably seen the model we were talking about when we encountered you in the parklands over there behind the lab, the industry area.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, well, it's best to keep that unnecessary.
It's none of my business anyway,
That's
so
true.
Why are you asking questions?
that's not the question I'm asking.
The thing is, she got a fairly decent picture for an amateur, so we couldn't have that out there. But we gave her the money she would have gotten on the civilian market for it.
Oh, sorry.
Just wonder sometimes why a patriotic American wouldn't have come directly to the military with these pictures so that, you know, an amicable way can be dealt with it, but instead they want to go straight to some tabloid.
That's how.
But in
people
a
think.
way, it discredits her own work sometimes. But
Yeah, that's how people.
that one
make
was a
it
little
work.
too good.
Way too good, huh?
Well, she just had some nice telescopic lenses there.
Yeah, with enough money, you can get just about anything.
Yeah, including our intention to get your stuff back when it's really, a matter of national security. So here you go, and have a nice day.
Okay.
He goes back and just goes off into his Jeep, gets in it, and leaves. People pull the gate. You've pretty much been snubbed as far as at this point. They're done talking with you.
Yeah.
They did what they were told to do because you knew someone,
Yeah.
and they didn't like it. So,
Time for me to find more information off of over that. The robbery over there. For the chemicals and what was stolen.
yeah. Well, you could check to see if Lieutenant Nash got some more information about it.
Yeah, I could go over there and talk to him.
Yeah, you made such a good impression with him last time.
Yeah.
Being rude.
I can be very rude.
Yeah, when it doesn't even call for it.
True.
So, on with this. He will tell you all they found out so far is that usually that vault had been, left alone. They have some stuff. And I got this to an FBI buddy of mine, so that they transfer from one location to another. That's why there was a guard there. Usually there isn't. He was just working with a couple others at trade-off shifts, watching the stuff. And what was in there was some chemicals that actually kind of old. They rank back to World War II. They came from Germany. Other things I noticed kind of odd is I found no way, as far as the fence looked like it was torn down. It's not cut down. Let alone the solid wall they busted through to get into there. And because it is reinforced concrete, there are some areas of wood, but nothing they could have gotten the barrels out of, like around window openings and doors and things like that.
Would anybody like some chips and dip?
No, thank